Hi everybody! Welcome to another week of Makers Monday. I am Anastasia Radloff, aka Stampin' Blondie, and thank you for joining me for another week of Makers Monday. If you are watching, make sure to like and subscribe and say hi so I know that you're watching. I am filming today not through Facebook Live. So I'm not sure who is following along, so make sure that you comment below so I know that you are following along with me, and thank you for joining me. If you are watching this on replay, make sure to post as well so I know that you're watching with me. And let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see where everybody is watching and joining us on another week of Makers Monday. Today is Monday, May 4th, and it's Star Wars Day, so may the 4th be with you, and welcome to Makers Monday. I am coming to you from a hot and steamy Tucson, Arizona. Today, right now, it is 93 degrees outside, and tomorrow is supposed to be about 102, so definitely a hot Cinco de Mayo tomorrow. I have a couple of announcements before we go ahead and get in our projects. And let me do our screen on screen so I can show you some of the announcements here. And there we go. Thank you for joining. And so this week has been definitely a task of getting my internet to work. I have a Wi-Fi extender that I have set up, and I am hopefully, fingers crossed, that this will work and not cause any lagging delays. Of course, as soon as I decided to go live, somebody decided to do their lawn outside. So if you hear a little background noise, there's a leaf blower kind of right outside my window. Hopefully you guys can still hear me okay. So I have, like I said, a couple of announcements before we go ahead and get started with our two projects today. The first is, as a reminder, the Ornate Garden Suite. Now this is a sneak peek from the new 2020-2021 annual catalog that is debuting in less than a month. January, where did that come from? June 3rd. June 3rd is when the new catalog debuts. But new demonstrators get to pre-order from the catalog starting tomorrow. And I am so excited to bring you another Facebook Live special event coming later this week to debut some of the new items from the catalog. I'll show you all of the new in colors and bring some fun and exciting things that are going to be debuting. Speaking of in colors, if you've seen this flyer, you may have noticed that this yellow color here is one of our new in colors. So this is called Bumblebee, and I'm really excited about this color. It coordinates perfectly with the new 2020-2022 in colors. So these colors stay around for 2 years, and we get to keep them and create some great projects with them for the next 2 years. So this is called Bumblebee. Now in this suite, you can pre-order items from the new catalog. So we have things like, let me make sure you guys can see this whole flyer here. We've got Ornate Garden Designer Series paper, which I showed you last week, but kind of a little sneak preview here is one of the pages, bright and flowers. And then the other side has this beautiful gold foiling, so I'm very excited about that. A lot of the designs remind me of Mary Engelbreit, if you remember her. She was big in like the 90s. So definitely some bright and fun flowers that we've got. Now this is Ornate Style Stamp Set. I debuted this a couple of weeks ago, I think on Makers Monday. But this is the stamp set. It's a cling stamp set, so it's red rubber, perfect for seeing where you're wanting to stamp. And then it has great coloring opportunities for this. Now, if you registered for April's Crafting Through Corona event, these little gilded gems here may look familiar. To those that placed a product order, they got a package of these gilded gems in their kit. So for those that are signing up for May's project kit, if you place a $25 product order through my store, I always include a little extra something into your class kit. Now, speaking of crafting through Corona, here are May's projects. I was so excited, glad you guys can see those there. I was so excited to create these. Now, these projects are debuting some retiring items from the annual catalog. The detailed beads dies are retiring, as well as the Peaceful Poppies Designer Series paper. Now, the Poppies dies are staying, but they won't be bundled together with the stamp set anymore. And then this Country Club Designer Series paper is also retiring at the end of this cycle. So these are the class projects for May's Crafting Through Corona class kit. The deadline to RSVP for this is May 16th, so about a little over 2 weeks to sign up for this. And just like April's kits, there's 2 options to register. You could place a $25 product order through my Stampin' Up! Website, or a $20 just a flat fee for the class projects. Both options include a detailed step-by-step PDF tutorial, as well as a step-by-step video that you can pause and work along at your own pace. Now, I received some amazing feedback about April's class kits, and thank you so much for signing up for those. This was the first time I've ever done a project kit to go, and I'm so excited to bring it back again for May in with these products and projects. Now, to register for the class, you can place a $25 product order using this hostess code here, or like I said, a $20 flat fee, and all the details are on my blog, stampinblondie.com, or comment below and I can reach out to you and we can get you set up for May's class kit. Now, today's Makers Monday is going to be featuring some retiring products from the catalog. Now, this is called the Above and Beyond stamp set, or sorry, Above the Clouds stamp set. And then this is the, what is this one called? Healing Hugs. Now, when I created this Healing Hugs project, I was under the impression that this stamp set is retiring. It's not. So we're gonna do a project today that is retiring with this stamp set and something that's coming and carrying over to the next annual catalog. So we've got a little bit of best of both worlds. So we're gonna work on this Above the Cloud stamp set first. Now, this is found on page 89 of the annual catalog. Now, this was offered as a bundle in the previous annual catalog, but in this one it is separate. So there is a coordinating punch to go along with it, and that is on page 186. It's a hot air balloon punch. So both of these items are found on the retiring list. The punch right now is while supplies last, and the stamp set is going to be manufactured by Stampin' Up! At least until May 25th. After that, it's while supplies last. So let's go ahead and get started on our project here. For this card, I used the Seaside Spray cardstock. I have a piece of, if I can get it, my hands don't want to work. I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and this is the nested stitched dies from the annual catalog. A piece of Crumb Cake cardstock, and this is from the stitched shaped dies. And then a piece of Designer Series paper. This is the Sail Away Designer Series paper, and this paper is retiring as well. So what we're gonna do first is we are going to fold our card in half, and using our bone folder, just score that line to crisp it up. I always like to do that just to make sure the card stays flat while you're working with it. Now, our Designer Series paper is dual-sided, so you can use either side of the paper, but of course with this project I am going to use the blue side as it coordinates with our other colors. Now, this paper I'm very sad to see go. It is perfect for masculine projects, and finding a pattern paper that has masculine entities to it can be quite difficult. So I'm a big fan of this paper. So we are going to work on our background piece here. So I have my Above the Clouds stamp, and we are going to use this little heart that's right here in the corner. Off to the side. And this is a photopolymer stamp set, meaning that it is completely see-through. You can see exactly where you're stamping. And we are going to use Night of Navy ink. I'm gonna get my little pad here and ink up my heart. Now I'm just gonna do my hearts on the outside of my project here. Just quick little inking up. There was no certain way I did these. I just kind of tiered them along the project as I worked. And then down at the bottom, the same thing, just kind of doing them at different levels to get them where you need them. Now it's such a tiny stamp and you want to do light taps on your ink pad to ensure that you don't pick up too much ink onto the stamp. Okay, we're gonna put that off to the side because we're gonna use that color again. And we're gonna bring in our crumb cake piece here. So I'm going to use the, where is it? The little seagulls stamp, and same thing, I'll just keep this out here. And we're gonna do 2 stamps of the seagulls. Quick and easy. Now, if everybody's looked at the retirement list, it's a lot. There's a lot of items that are retiring. You may have noticed that our Stampin' Blends are on there. Have no fear, Stampin' Blends are not retiring. We are just getting some new items for item codes for the catalog. So don't worry about that. They're not going anywhere. So I like this little sentiment that comes with it. It says, "Hi, friend." And this is perfect because you can use this as a masculine or feminine card. Hi, friend is great for any kind of occasion. You could use this for a birthday card. Congratulations. So I even like to call my husband friend sometimes, so I could give this as an anniversary card to him. We're gonna work on our balloon now, and I have Seaside Spray cardstock, just a scrap piece of that. And we're going to use this balloon piece here with our clear block. I like to do tone-on-tone stamping, meaning I have Seaside Spray ink and Seaside Spray cardstock. Now, if you don't have the same coordinating color ink, you can always use an ink called Versamark. That works well for the same kind of tone-on-tone look. Okay, and it looks like I may have misplaced my little basket, but there's this little basket piece here. Oh, I found it. There it is. It was stuck to the plastic that comes off of it. So there we go. And this little basket piece I'm gonna cut over here as it's kind of angled off onto, sorry, you can't see that. I'm just gonna cut it off to the edge over here, just because the punch has got the basket angled on it, so we want to keep it off to the side. So I'm gonna close up all my ink before I get ink everywhere, as I tend to do sometimes when I'm crafting. And this is the hot air balloon punch that I had talked about. Now I like to punch upside down so I can line everything up and see exactly where I'm punching. And that is the great thing about our punches. Now what I do is I kind of like half punch and then I hold it upside down so that the pieces don't go flying. They would fly if I punched right side up. So I just kind of do a little half punch to keep the paper in place and then flip it over. Right, and next we are going to punch out our little basket. Like I said, this is kind of at a weird angle here. So I'm gonna line it up, and you definitely wanna kind of half punch that one and flip it upside down. That little basket piece will fly across the room. I think I dropped it 3 times yesterday when I was finishing up this project. All right, let's work on assembling. So if you follow along with my Makers Mondays projects a lot, you will notice that I love dimensionals. So of course this project is full of dimensionals. So on the back of our Whisper White piece, we're gonna add some dimensionals. Peel those off. All right. And then just layer that kind of off center. Not too far right in the middle, because we want to have this circle piece too here off to the side. Now on this back piece, because we have dimensionals here, we only need dimensionals on half of this one this half here, I'm just gonna use regular tape runner. Now I'm doing this because this ensures that my circle won't be uneven. If I was to add dimensionals to the whole thing, you would have basically a 2-stepped level dimensional on this side and only 1-step dimensional on that side. So it would kind of be a little uneven. So we've got just glue on one side, dimensionals on the next. It's a little crooked. And there we go, much better. And of course, more dimensionals on the back of our hot air balloon again. I just do 2 on the back of this one. Now I seem to have lost, see, there it is, that little basket. I'm telling you, this little basket gets everywhere. Now on the back of these, little mini dimensionals work perfect, right in the middle of that one. So we're gonna take off the 2 and we're gonna layer the top of the balloon first, and then the bottom little basket can go in here. Now this basket is great because you can do 2 different colors. You don't have to have the balloon top be the same as the bottom. Now on my project here, I used Whisper White Baker's Twine. Now this is on the retirement list as well. Now this Baker's Twine is great because you can dye it to be any color that you want. And I am doing just 9 inches of ribbon. Now with this, you can color it with Stampin' Blends. You can color it with Stampin' Write markers. You can dye it with our re-inkers. You can color it a multitude of different ways. So I'm very sad to see this Baker's Twine go. And we're just gonna create a little bow here. As you can see, I'm not tightening up anything just yet until I have it kind of where I want it. And then you wanna manipulate it even more and then cut the tails off. I always use more ribbon and twine that I am going to need. And I do that because it gives me better handling of the ribbon, but also if I need to make it just a little bit bigger or smaller, I have that extra to work with. Now we are going to use glue dots on the back and my take your pick tool. So what I do is I like to take my glue dots. I have this in the little refillable glue dot dispenser that I found, but I like to take my take your pick tool. Oh, that one flew across the room. And I just like to form a little ball on the tip of my pick tool. And then I can put it on my project and put the ribbon right there. And then it's not sticky on my fingers. I don't have to worry about it, you know, flying off on my project. I can put it exactly where I want it, right down. All right, so that is our first project using the Above the Clouds stamp set. I hope you enjoyed this project. Let me know in the comments if you like it. This is a quick and easy project, like I said, that can be used for some great occasions. Different occasions can go for that card. Let's clean some of this up here. I see we have Linda and Penny and Candy watching. Hello, ladies. Thank you for joining. If you're watching, make sure to comment below, just so I know. Like I said, I'm not using Facebook Live, so I'm not sure who's exactly watching. But it's always great to see and follow along with everybody as well. All right, this is our next project that we are going to be working on. This stamp set is called Healing Hugs, and this is on page 80 of our annual catalog. And this is what the stamp set looks like. Now, this stamp is called a distinctive set. Distinct, like I-N-K, ink in the comment. Now, this is called distinctive because when you stamp with these images, you will get the basically exactly what the flower looks like in real life. So these stamps have little micro dots in them. It's not gonna be like your typical stamp. It's not very raised, so you don't need a lot of ink in there, and it is perfect for creating realistic looking stamp images. Now, like I had mentioned before, this stamp set is not retiring. I thought it was, but apparently my catalog is not marked. here, I'll move this up so you guys can see the whole thing. This is not retiring, so definitely going to be carrying over. I created a get well soon card for one of my friends that was diagnosed with coronavirus with this stamp set, and I really like the way that it looks and turns out. So we are going to start. Let me grab my supplies here. Got a bunch of ink pads, and I started out with a gray granite cardstock base. Now, I love gray granite. It's kind of what people would call grayish. It is a beige gray mix, and gray granite is probably one of my favorite grays that we offer, actually. It is my favorite gray that we offer. So this is cut to 4 1/4 by 11. So I took an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock, and I cut it straight in half and scored that as well. I have a piece of Pool Party cardstock that's cut at 4 inches by 5 1/4, and a piece of Very Vanilla cardstock at 3 3/4 by 5. Now, I don't create with Very Vanilla very often, so I was excited to bring that into this project. Normally, I go for Whisper White. I like the crisp white color and how our inks just pop from it, but I really wanted to use Very Vanilla on this. Now, a tip for figuring out layering your cardstock pieces. You may have noticed that I gave the dimensions 1/4 inch different from each other. So this is 4 inches wide, and this piece is 3 3/4. So it has the perfect layering aspect to it when you go to adhere it to your card. So that is a great tip that I've always learned for figuring out the perfect mat sizing with your projects. Now with this project here, we have some of these stamped images in the background. So that is this little like cross stitch pattern that is on the project. And I don't use this stamp very often when I use this set, but I like the way it kind of comes out here. So let's line that up. And we are going to use on this project Pear Pizzazz, Blushing Bride, Pool Party, and Soft Suede. Now these 3 colors here are from our Subtles collection, and then Soft Suede's from our Neutral. Again, I could have used basic black ink for this, but I wanted to create it more soft tone, so I used Soft Suede. So for the background, we're going to use the Pool Party and the Blushing Bride, and I'm just going to stamp my image in the middle of the paper here. So just like that, no special lining up of that. And then we're gonna switch to Blushing Bride. I don't use this color too often. I like our Petal Pink that we have a little bit more for our pinks, but I'm just stamping that a little off center from the Pool Party that I just did here. It's always nice to have some Get Well Soon cards in your stash. You never know when you're gonna need them, unfortunately, but it's always nice to have something for this kind of project. Now, these, this rose image and the leaves, I fussy cut these. Now, if you're not too familiar with what fussy cutting is, it means I stamped the image and then I cut them out via scissors. No special dies needed for this or cutting machine. Now, for the sake of everybody and the magic of television, I have pre-cut all of my images for you guys. If not, we would be here a while, and I know we all have other things to do this evening. So I pre-cut my stamped images. I did this in Pool Party and Blushing Bride, and then the Pear Pizzazz here. So I'm going to layer my pre-stamped that I just did, cardstock, the Very Vanilla, onto this Pool Party piece. Now, I actually do have something on this card that is retiring, and I'm very sad about it. Our snail adhesive is retiring. I was completely shocked when they said that this item will be leaving us, but the fun thing is that our new adhesive that's coming is going to be 10 times better than our current snail. You don't have to do this little check mark at the ends that I'm doing with our project. And I've had in a couple of my classes the snail get stuck, and then I just use a new refill and kind of they move on with their project. But with this, we won't have to worry about refills getting stuck. And if you were a previous fan of our Fast Fuse adhesive that we have kind of like a snail Fast Fuse 2.0. So it's coming, and I am excited. So if you attend my in-person classes when we are allowed to back again, you'll get to use these in our classes too. So I'm just using a little bit of snail adhesive onto the back, or actually the front of the Pear Pizzazz petals. And then I'm doing the same thing for this Blushing Bride rose. Just making sure everything's kind of lined up how I had it on my project. And again, on the back of these, dimensionals. You can't go wrong with dimensionals. It is fun and a quick and easy technique that anybody can do. Anybody can peel and stick, and can never have too many dimensionals. All right, so we've got our roses here. Now you can see I did not stamp my sentiment just yet. I wanted to line up my roses first on my project and then stamp, just to make sure that my Get Well Soon isn't going to be covered up by these flowers. Normally I tell you to do any kind of stamping, then cutting or punching, but this project is a little bit different. So we just want to make sure that our flowers here are lined up first, and then we do our sentiment. Now some of these little cross stitches may get covered up once you get your project all set up there. And then we'll come in here using the Get Well Soon sentiment. Again, a nice soft card that is perfect for men and women. I think a man, it doesn't, when you're making Get Well Soon cards, I don't think it really matters if they're masculine or feminine cards. I think anybody would appreciate a Get Well Soon card in the mail. All right, we've got our Get Well Soon. See, you can see exactly why I didn't stamp it just yet. I wanted to make sure that my roses were in the right place. And then to finish it, you have to have some bling. So these are the champagne rhinestones, and these are carrying over to the next catalog. I'm very excited. I love these rhinestones. I love the kind of blush look of them. And I used, again, my Take Your Pick tool to just kind of easily put my rhinestones on my project without them flying across the room. If you were to use your fingers, you get up under it and bloop, you've got rhinestones on your windows, on the walls, everywhere. And that is our project. All right, well, thank you everybody for joining me today for another week of Makers Monday. It seems like the internet held out and I may have finally fixed the issue, fingers crossed. So these were the projects that we worked on today, and some great masculine and feminine cards for both Get Well Soon and any occasion as well. Now, as a reminder, my Crafting Through Corona May class kit registration deadline is May 16th. All the details can be found on my Stampin' Blondie Facebook page, my stampinblondie.com website, or you can comment below and I'll get together with you about signing up for that class. I hope you all are keeping safe. I look forward to the next time that we can craft together, and make sure to keep an eye out for this coming Friday at 5 o'clock, where I will be debuting the new 2020-2022 in colors in person, and I'm so excited to show you those to you. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you later. Bye.